Hey guys, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks. And 2 weeks ago in Warsaw, Poland, we saw the grand finals where the two best World of Tanks teams in the world, NAVI and Hellraisers, who are the defending champions, were facing off for a grand prize of $150,000. This video is going to analyze how these two titans of World of Tanks clashed on the cliff map and how the brand new physics eventually had a big say in determining the outcome. So before we look at the final deciding round, let's see how these teams matched up in their first two encounters on the cliff map. So let's take a look how this first round went down. NAVI are on the red, they're going to appear now, and they've invested all of their forces along the south apart from two Batchat Strike and the Untitled, who are going to be able to try and take the lighthouse to the north. Now, Hellraisers, on the other hand, are using some rather sneaky slope up here to invest three Batchats towards the center mound, while also having a couple making their way along the south to catch a large number of NAVI's forces in a bit of a pincer maneuver here. NAVI react quickly. They figure out they have to try and push out one of the flank. That's the only way to get out of a pincer maneuver. And one thing that you're going to see is that Nuclear is going to dominate Strike here, but Strike is actually doing some effective fire. He is completely ignoring Nuclear because he realizes how important it is for his team to be able to break out of this pincer. And so Strike basically sacrifices himself, allowing Nuclear to kill him, but he puts out some fantastic firepower down here on Applewell and Griffin to be able to allow NAVI to push through this pincer. So let's just have a quick first-person replay from Nuclear's perspective of that. Here we can see that he puts one into Strike, two into Strike, and Strike is completely ignoring him, instead choosing to focus down on the mid flank. And this looks absolutely bizarre from Nuclear's perspective. It seems like he just dealt with a Batchat one-on-one and put 1,800 damage into him. So let's take a look at that engagement from Strike's perspective, who was on the receiving end of Nuclear's wrath there. He notices where Nuclear is, and he perfectly well figures out that he's going to shoot him, but he focuses on Griffin. He focuses on Applewell, who are below him, putting one in, two into Griffin, setting him on fire, one more into Applewell before turning and putting a round into Nuclear as well. So it was very clear that he knew that he had to sacrifice himself and just take the wrath of Nuclear to be able to deal with the Hellraiser flank here to try and get all of his friends out the pincer maneuver. And that was very, very costly for NAVI. Unfortunately for NAVI, they just lost too many tanks and too many hit points in that awesome pincer maneuver by Hellraisers. And despite his best efforts, Inspirer finds himself outnumbered and outgunned, giving Hellraisers the first round on cliff. So round two, and now Hellraisers are the attacking team, as we can see towards the south, and NAVI are the northern team, and they have decided to invest all of their forces together. And also, very interestingly, NAVI are using a Skoda TVP T51. Here we can see Slide getting some early shots in. And this is very interesting because, of course, the Tier 10 Czechoslovakian medium tank, while it doesn't have the magazine potential of a Batchat, it does manage to load faster, and so he manages to get a first quick, cheeky two shots into Hellraisers as they advance. And now NAVI have invested all of their forces towards this central area. And look at this, Nuclear and Monty in the Speerpanzer and the Batchat are not in the fight at all. And so that means that Hellraisers are completely outnumbered. And NAVI are just zerging through their Batchats here. Interestingly as well, Slide is now being attacked in his TVP T50/51 by Nesquik and his Batchat, but it just doesn't seem to be working out for him. Unfortunately, Nesquik just didn't quite have enough ammunition, and you know who's going to reload first between the T50-51 or the Batchat? Yeah, of course, it's going to be the TVP, and that means that Slide shuts down Nesquik in his Batchat. And from here on, there's nothing that Hellraisers can do. Frankly, Monty and Nuclear were just out of the action for too long, allowing all of their friends to be able to be overwhelmed, and NAVI come through with winning round two very, very cleanly. So here we go, round three on cliff. This was the final round to decide who would be the 2016 World Champions of World of Tanks, and Applewell is certainly going to want to win this one because it's worth $150,000. Applewell was one of the players of the tournament. At least from my perspective, he won many 1 versus 2s and some 1 versus 3s as well. And he was a large part of why Hellraisers were in this final. But you're only as good as your last game, right? And we're going to see how this round develops. It must have been so tense between these two teams. Can you imagine having one round worth $150,000? The mind boggles, right? So, obviously there's a lot of drama between these two teams. They were the finalists in the 2015 Grand Finals, and Hellraisers managed to just take down NAVI making them the reigning champions. NAVI were the favorites to win then, and probably were the favorites to win in 2016, and so they're probably going to be wanting to dethrone Hellraisers. So we can see that Nesquik has told his team everybody towards the lighthouse right now, with a few tanks flanking towards the left there, Monty, we see. And that is a rather bold play, because previously in the previous 2 rounds we saw that they kind of divided their forces up between the south and the north. One interesting thing here is that Slide is trying to sneak his way up, and Applewell uses auto-aim, I think he did, to be able to put a good shot there into Slide. But unfortunately for Applewell and Hellraisers, Nuclear has managed to get himself in a bit of a sticky situation, and Inspirer manages to shut him down, the first tank of the game lost. One thing that's interesting here as well is that Applewell chooses not to reload. Obviously he's got 4 rounds left, that's capable of doing 1,600 damage. And look at what Hellraisers are doing right now. Hellraisers have invested all of their forces in trying to push around the south, and they managed to take down 3 tanks, a great result there. And now because they have Applewell on top of the hill shooting down, that's stopping the Anatolich and Strike from being able to run away. But luckily the Batchat eventually has to reload, right? So Applewell is out, and so that means that NAVI can be a little bit more casual with going around the corner, and Hellraisers decide that they've got to bug out. We can see Nesquik and Griffin there are running away as fast as they can towards the north while being chased down by Strike. But Applewell was just reloading, and he's probably going to have to battle through killing Slide here, or maybe he can even get a shot into the side of the Anatolich or Inspirer, who is going after Lolwo. He's only got a couple more seconds, and then I think he's going to go after Slide down here. Yeah. Okay, this isn't looking good for Slide, considering he's on 33% of his hit points. Oh, great shot there by Applewell as he's slipping and sliding down his slope. Fortunately, the second one not quite so good, but doesn't really matter as he only needs to connect one more. And there it is. Bam. Great round in there. Taking down another vehicle, but unfortunately for Hellraisers, things haven't gone so well on that flank, and now they're finding themselves in a 2 versus 3 situation. One thing we must also mention here is that Hellraisers are the attacking team, and so that means that they have to cap either one of 2 bases. If you've never seen this Assault game mode for the eSports game mode, I should say, so to say, there are 2 bases that you can cap, so you can choose which one, so that a team can't just cap a single base. Alright, so now Griffin has managed to make his way almost into the cap circle, but he's got to worry about 3 very, very skilled players here on the enemy team. Anatolich, Inspire, and Strike, who are going to be able to try and hunt him down. Now Applewell is going to make a nice handbrake turn there. Great use of the new physics, right? That's not it. We're going to see some awesome physics coming up in a second. Your mind is going to boggle at what is going to happen here. You couldn't have written this any better. It frankly is a fairy tale of a story about what's going to happen here. So Applewell is going to show you something that you can do with the new physics on this map. Look at this. Boom. Straight up there. How many of you didn't know that? I have to admit, every time I watch these esports events, I do learn 1 or 2 more things about positioning. And I'm not sure that Anatolich expected himself to get taken out there. Some quite aggressive plays. If we were watching from Griffin's cam there, he actually managed to bounce a couple of shots from players there. And look at this position. Applewell is just in an absolute dominant location. What that means is that Strike is now locked down, and that hopefully that means that Griffin is going to be able to get some shots around that corner at Strike. He forces him out into the open. Applewell misses one. He's only got one left. Will he hit it? Oh no, he hits the gun, and now he's on a reload. Inspirer gets a good shot into him from down below. You can't afford to get hit that many times in the Batchat. But luckily, it looks like Applewell put enough pressure on Strike there to allow Griffin to take him down. So now, Inspirer finds himself as the last man alive on NAVI's team, trying to deal with Applewell, who is reloading right now. It looks like Inspirer definitely knows how to sneak his way up as well. Yeah, he's on his way up, and Applewell was reloading. He's only got about another 5 seconds to reload left. He's got to try and buy himself as much time as he possibly can to get away from Inspirer. Oh, dear. Oh, no. Oh, goodness. And Inspirer looks at him. Look at this. Inspirer is basically saying to himself, oh, mate, you've gone screwed up right now, haven't you? Oh, my days. Poor Applewell is stuck, completely stuck in this rock in the Grand Finals, the 2016 Grand Finals, with $150,000 riding on his team here. Now let's switch to see how Inspire is now going to deal with this 1 versus 2, or now really a 1 versus 1 situation. So let's take a quick look at that from Inspirer's perspective. He manages to get spot by Applewell on his approach up. He's got 3 shells remaining. He is going to have to connect all of those if he wants to be able to take down Applewell, as he's on over 1,000 hit points. And this was the moment of just absolute disaster for Applewell. What do you think was going through Inspirer's mind right now as he looks down on his opponent thinking, you are one of the things that's stopping me from getting 150 grand, mate. Okay, well, I'll just leave you there. I'll go kill your buddy, and then maybe I'll come back for you later. But he's got to watch out because Griffin is still trying to gun for him. Now, he's got 657 hit points, which means that he can take 1 shell, but he can't take 2. Oh my word, what a shot by Griffin there on the approach. That one must have rocked Inspirer a little bit. Now it's basically sudden death. Griffin will be killed in a single shot, and so will Inspirer. So what do you do here? Well, remember, Inspirer is on the defending team, so he doesn't need to really do anything. All he needs to do is survive for the next 4.5 minutes. Whereas Griffin on the enemy team has to cap, or Applewell has to be able to free himself to be able to help Griffin in capping as well. So from here, Inspirer is just going to have a casual little stroll around, really, and try and hope that Griffin is going to be able to make a move into one of the cap circles. He's also going to fully reload. He's going to run away for a little while just in case he manages to get caught reloading. And also, Inspirer right now doesn't know that Applewell is completely stuck, or is he? I'm not going to really spoil it for you guys. So Inspirer is constantly on the lookout for where Applewell might come out. And remember, he's on 1,000 hit points, so he's going to have to shoot him 3 times. While also having to worry about what Griffin is going to be up to, even though Griffin is a one-shot. So Inspirer has decided that he wants to be able to go up on the hill. From this position, you have got an excellent viewpoint, and you should be able to see where the enemy tanks are coming from pretty much everywhere. He interestingly decides to sit in this bush. I think this is actually a very clever position. For some reason, maybe Applewell might try and launch himself back up on there again, although you think he might not do that because he managed to get himself stuck just a couple of minutes ago. But it's very clear what the enemy team are doing now. They're going to be capping, and it's very likely that they're going to be taking the 1 cap rather than the 2 cap. We can see here that NAVI are suggesting to Inspirer which way to go. Some people clicking south, some people clicking north. But Inspirer is going to make some very interesting plays here to be able to defend the first cap circle. So how would you approach this? Some people would use this ridgeline here and go along the bushes. Some people alternatively might go north. These kind of stressful situations where you think if you go left you might win, if you go right you might lose. Playing for $150,000. Just the absolute tension in Inspirer and NAVI here would have been absolutely incredible. I can only imagine how the people who are dead on Navi's team must be thinking to make suggestions or to click the map furiously to tell Inspirer where to go. But in the end, they all need to just shut up and let Inspirer make the play to either win or to lose. So with going round the corner very carefully here, I think what he's trying to do is either try and get Sixth Sense to pop off to see if he can manage to find out where he is. There he is! There's Griffin! Headshot! Yes! He manages to shut him down, defending the cap circle, and now there is just a minute left on the game. All he has to do is to survive for a minute. Now, where is Applewell? Well, let's just take a look at the observer cam. So, boom, off goes Griffin's head. Inspirer making a good kill there to secure the cap circle, and unfortunately for Applewell, yep, he's still stuck. Still stuck behind this rock. This poor fellow. Let's just put this in 4 times speed. Otherwise we're going to be sitting here all day. 40 seconds left. Yeah, what was going through Applewell's mind right now? Getting his team into the finals. And then 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And that is how the grand finals were won by NAVI. Physics, yo. I still can't believe this happened. You couldn't have written a more ridiculous ending to a fantastic series of games between these 2 awesome teams. And congratulations to NAVI on being the world champions, and I hope Applewell doesn't feel too bad about making a mistake that we see all the time in random gameplay. The mind absolutely boggles when a simple mistake by one of the best players of World of Tanks in the world can cost you $150,000. $1,000, hey guys. But anyway, hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider giving it a like down below. It really helps the channel out. And I look forward to reading all of your comments down below. And as always, thank you so much for watching. You've been epic, and hopefully I'll see you soon.